What's up, everyone? So the day has finally come. The decision making needs to be made. Do I keep an Xbox Series X or do I keep an Xbox Series S? And I thought about it really long, and the decision came actually really easy. And by 100%, the best choice is by far the Xbox Series X. And I'm going to explain to you guys 5 points why the Xbox Series X should be your choice. And I'll give you guys maybe 1 point why this one could be an option. So option number 1, the power difference. So the Xbox Series X is 3 times more powerful, minimum, than your Xbox Series S. Your Xbox Series X has a 3.8 gigahertz Zen 2 8-core AMD CPU. That is insane. The GPU is showing 12 teraflops of power. So it has 52 compute units running at 1.825 gigahertz using the latest and greatest from AMD's RDNA 2 architecture. So that means ray tracing and all that good stuff, VRR, variable refresh rate. This also has 16 gigabytes of GDDR6, and this console will be running games at native 4K 100. Well, not all of them are 120 FPS, but a lot of them are going to be running at 60 FPS. Versus the Xbox Series S has a 3.6 gigahertz CPU. Yeah, it's very similar. So the CPU is very similar. It's just 0.2 gigahertz slower than the Xbox Series X. But the big difference is in the GPU. This one will be running 4 teraflops of 20 compute units at 1.56 gigahertz. So we're talking 12 teraflops versus 4 teraflops for the Xbox Series S. That's 3 times difference. The other thing as well is the GDDR6. The Series S only has 10 gigabytes, so only 10 gigabytes of GDDR6 versus the 16 gigabytes on the Series X. Now, another point to consider as well is these games, this console is going to be running mostly at 1440p versus the Series X is going to be running at 4K. So the power difference is huge. The next factor is the storage, the SSD storage. Xbox Series X has 1 terabyte storage versus the Xbox Series S has 512 gigabytes. We're talking about half the storage. And we all know, guys, that the storage is super expensive, right? The 1 terabyte expandable storage sold from Seagate and Microsoft runs for $299. So let's half that in price to match. It comes up to $150. There's $200 difference between these two consoles. So that's a no-brainer just for that factor. You're getting a much more powerful console. You're getting double the memory as well. And you're also getting, yes, a drive. There's going to be an Ultra HD drive on this console. This system does not have that. There's got to be some value to that, right? $50, $75, I don't know. You're going to be able to watch your movies. You're also going to be able to play all your existing Xbox games that you have. If you have a disc version, you're going to be able to play it on this. You will not be able to play it on the Series S. So by far, guys, that's another huge advantage. I mean, if you tally up the amount of money for all these things put together, I don't really see the value in this system anymore. So think about it, $200 price difference. These consoles should last you guys 7 years, right? The console generations typically change every 7 years. So the $200 price difference comes out to $28 a year or 7 cents per day. It doesn't make sense. The value is not there to take a console that has half the memory. And honestly, I would say even half the power, even more than that. It's half the power and no disk drive as well. So the one thing that I will give the Series S is, yeah, it's a little bit more compact, but the Series X is not that much bigger. The other thing as well is, this is interesting for somebody who wants to have a secondary gaming console. For somebody who's a hardcore gamer, I wouldn't waste any time and go straight with the Series X. But somebody who's considering having a secondary console and is just getting into the Microsoft ecosystem and you want to touch the waters with Game Pass, I would say get a Series S. Yeah, it's compact, it's low cost. You're going to be able to download your games and play some of them. But if anybody is serious about gaming, you got more power, you got a hard drive, you got more memory, and this thing here is going to last you much longer. Don't forget, guys, the gaming is over a 7-year period. So that's it for today, guys. Like, subscribe, leave some comments, and I'm looking forward to the next video. Have yourself a great day, have yourself a great night, and stay safe out there. Cheers.